Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode of the Halftorqued Podcast. It's the first time doing this. We're very, very pumped. I think today we're just going to go through some information about our journey through cars, how we got into them, our opinions, so you can know whether to trust us or not. You can't.
Nope.
But yeah, we're just two stupid guys who like cars a little too much.
My wife says so.
Yeah, so does mine.
Yeah, she definitely says that I like cars. She also says that she never thought that her life would involve cars so much.
Yeah, so does my parents, my brothers, my cousins, my friends.
Well, my mom, she's used to my dad being a car guy, so
True.
she's used to that part of it. And
But I think it's fine.
Absolutely. I mean, it's our thing now, so.
Our number one saying is don't get into cars.
Do not get into cars. I can't stress that enough.
It's too expensive. It's time consuming. And it's frustrating.
Oh, but I love it so much.
But man, it's fun.
It's the best.
Absolutely.
I cut my finger. It really hurt.
I'm sorry. I got my finger, but it's been healed by now. So heal faster, nerd.
I'm a lot older than you.
Yeah, you are a lot older than me. Let's talk about the age gap here. Kidding. Okay.
Let's put it out on the table real quick. I'm like twice your age.
You're not quite twice my age.
Almost.
You're like more than twice.
Wait a second. Yeah, I'm twice your age. Yeah.
You're 21.
Yeah. I'm 27.
27, yeah. That's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he was 27, he would look bad for 27. So that's not a good thing that you're 27.
Yeah.
You look really good for like 35 though.
I'm 43.
43.
Yeah.
He's more than twice my age.
Yep. Anyway.
Depending on birthdays. Anyway, why don't you get started and tell us about, I think your journey is going to be a little bit longer than mine. I haven't been to cars nearly as long as you, but
how do you measure your car journey? Is it by how many years you've been into cars, or is it by how many cars that you've had?
I think if it was by how many cars you've had, that would be unfair to someone who's found their dream car first. You know what I mean? So I think it's by.
If you're just getting into cars, though, can your first car really be your dream car?
That's a really good topic of discussion, actually.
I don't think you can. Like, there's so many things that, God, man,
I think no one can know enough about cars starting, regardless of how much you think you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
To know what your dream car could even be.
Like, even as long as I've been into cars and the stuff that I've done with cars and, everything like that, there's still so much out there to learn. Yeah. And I mean, even that being said, there's people out there that are younger than me that know more about cars than I do. You know what I mean? Like if Leah Block came in here right now, she would school us both.
I don't know, dude. I feel like I'd know this hobby.
No,
she'd wreck us.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And like,
well, like we both have our dream cars, right? But like as soon as we get in them and drive them, that can change.
Absolutely.
And GT3 RSs are people's dream cars. Like you can't daily that like you think you can probably. You know what I mean? Like these track-oriented cars. Right. It's so uncomfortable and like
even your Supra that's on air ride,
It sucks to drive.
As fantastic as that car is, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like
you definitely can't go into it knowing what your dream car is, even if you know what it is, and then it's going to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, God, mine has changed since I've been into cars. My first dream car was probably a Corvette, because of my dad. And then, I've told you the story about the first time I saw the FDRX7, and that was in a movie, by the way, guys. It was Fast Getaway 2.
Never seen it.
He's an actor, and he's seen less movies than anyone I know except my wife.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I just remember seeing him driving that FDRX7 that I had to learn what it was. And this was before Google. And, I remember one day we were just driving and there was a Mazda dealership. It was called Frema Motors in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where I'm from. And I remember seeing a black one out there and then seeing it in person and up close. Man, I love that car. I still do. And I'm going to own one day. And, it's not that I can't have one right now. This goes back to you saying that you can't daily drive a GT3 RS because you don't want to daily drive anything that's rotary powered for one. Yeah. They suck on gas. I mean, that being said.
So does this thing.
Sucks on gas, but, it's miles per gallon.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, I'm going to get an RX-7 one day, and gonna love it.
Yep.
But yeah, you're because that was my dream car for a while. That's where I was going with this. And now my dream car is like a McLaren P1 or the Pagani Huayra GT2 RS Porsche, which I am no Porsche fanboy, but that car, Jesus,
yeah,
that car is
nasty.
Yeah.
Well, the GT3 RS is already nasty, and you got twin turbo to it, and
like the GT3 RS is sick.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm just, I don't know.
Well, obviously, you talk about like when you first started, cars keep coming out, and cars keep coming out, and like
things change.
When did the P1 come out? What was the first year of the P1?
P1? Oh God, like 17 maybe. Was it
really? Is that new?
Is it that new? Like I can't even remember. Was it 15? Like it's been around for a while because
even a minimum like 2010, right? So like,
oh God, yeah, it was
right.
after that, but yeah.
So like that came out after you were into cars.
Oh, absolutely.
And so now that's like your new dream car, and so like even you're probably never gonna find like the dream car. Like there's always newer things. There's
always chasing it, 100%. And
and not every car can fill everything that you want it to fill. Like there's straight line speed. We can talk about that all day. Like the different checks that cars fill.
Yeah. And like the best thing to focus on is your attainable dream car, as a lot of people say.
Right.
And, I'm fortunate enough that right now I have my attainable dream car, because I would still take the GTR over an RX-7 any day. But, I'm very thankful to be in a position that I'm in, and I know you are too.
100%.
I'm thankful that you got rid of the BMW for the Supra. I just wish that thing wasn't out back. The Mustang.
It's nostalgic. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So your car journey. That was a really good tangent. Your car journey. When did that start? What was your first car? Or I guess what was your first sports car? Or like what was your first like?
No. Let's start from the beginning.
Do it.
My very first car was a 1992 Geostorm.
Geostorm. I was in that movie. Sorry.
2 words. I called it the Hurricane, and sports car it was not.
Yeah.
It was an automatic. The only reason I chose it is because it already had a Pioneer CD player in it. And I thought that was neat because I didn't want to.
Means. I know what a CD player is.
Right. But I didn't want a cassette player.
Yeah,
CDs were literally just coming out, and well, not literally, but they'd been out for a while. But it was getting to be one of those things where everybody had one at that point, and I wanted to be that guy. But I had that car for about a month, and I wrecked it. I rear-ended a guy in a truck, and I never drove that car again. It wasn't for a few years that I got a car, and that's when I got into DSMs.
What does that mean?
Don't start much. Technically, it's Diamond Star Motors, but yeah.
Okay.
That's when I got my first Eclipse.
Gotcha.
And let me tell you about let me tell you about love-hate relationships, man. That car will. That's how you learn to work on cars. Is you get forget my language, but a shit box, and you're always trying to fix things that are broken, and that is what a DSM is. And anybody that owns them will tell you that. But man, when they run.
Yeah.
They were so much fun. My first one was non-turbo, and then a couple years after I had that, it was about a year actually, that I got a turbo one. It was a GST. It was a front-wheel drive turbo, and that's when I really started learning about turbos and like getting into boost and stuff like that. And like there was this place, a shop, I forget the name right now, that had a couple of them, and I told them I wanted to be faster than my friend Ted, who had a RX-7. They're like, "Oh, that'd be easy." And in my eyes, there was no way to be faster than that car. But
it's also crazy to me how you're talking about RX-7s like they were like just a thing that people had.
No.
But like you were like there was one at a dealership.
Yeah,
you're not gonna see one at a dealership.
Nope.
Anywhere, especially around like Eastern Tennessee. But
right. Yeah.
You're not just gonna like drive by like a Honda dealership and there's like a used RX-7 in the lot. Like these are now like $150,000 crazy cars that are somehow skyrocketing in value because people just love them.
There's less and less in the States because they only sold them here for 3 years or 2 years.
Really?
It was 3-year models that they sold to FD, 93 to 95.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. But they sold them to 99, I believe, in Japan. Don't fact check me. It could have been 2000. But man, they just got better and better looking. You know, Japan gets all the cool Japanese cars 100%. Before we do. Skylines being the big one, Evos, even the STIs. You know, we didn't get that stuff. We didn't get the first Evo until 2003. Same with the WRX, and then we didn't get the STI until a year later. Like, have you ever looked and seen all the different kinds of cars that we don't have over here? Like,
there's actually a car in, I want to say it's like South Africa. It's a Ford. I forget what it's like a Ford Everest. But that thing is
the SUV.
Sick. Yeah, it's like a cooler Explorer. Like
I just saw that the other day.
That thing would murder here. It's like,
huge.
Why aren't they selling it here? Like,
it's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it seems like all the other countries get like the cooler cars, but I'm sure we have some stuff that, as well that they don't.
Do we?
I don't know if we do.
I don't think we do. Like, because I know we send the Corvette goes over, the Mustang goes over.
Yep.
Do we have anything else that's cool?
Not really.
No, we really don't.
But also, I mean, they're getting like the Ford Everest, right? So like they're getting an American brand extra car that we don't get.
Well, Australia used to get the Holden, you know, which was basically GM. Like they had the Holden Ute, which is a big thing. Looked like a more modern El Camino.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah, and like what's the Chevy SS that we got? It's a Holden over there, and there's actually a guy around here that has the Holden front end.
Oh, really?
Like put on his. Yeah, it looks really cool.
That's
but
cool.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I always thought that was cool.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know. It's crazy that I feel like America maybe just is too money oriented and is only going to sell the stuff that they know will sell.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we definitely sometimes draw the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like you look at like places in Asia where like they can barely even mod their cars legally. Like they have they have to have everything in their car to revert it back to stock.
Yep.
Or else they'll just impound it.
Yeah, they can impound your car and just keep it.
Yeah. Which I don't know about you guys, but there is literally no shot I could fit anything in my Supra that would bring it back to stock. Like, it's way too difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy that countries like that can't even modify their cars are getting the coolest cars to modify.
I was watching a Larry Chen video earlier, and I think he was in Indonesia or somewhere like that, and these guys, the cars that they have, the guy was driving an S15 Sylvia, which, you know, we never got. So I don't know if they ever actually made those a left-hand drive car. It may have. But they also, every car that they had over there had to be converted to left-hand drive. So you couldn't have a right-hand drive car over there.
Right.
So they're like cutting off at the firewall and re-welding these things on and stuff like that. And like, they were talking about how the scene for cars like that is getting so much smaller now because you just can't get them anymore. And that sucks, man.
Well, when you can, they're like so freaking expensive.
Yeah.
Like I feel like most of the Skylines were pretty attainable. And then all of a sudden, they're like more expensive than like really, really well-spec'd R35s. Yeah. So it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, the GTR, R34 GTR is one of my absolute favorite cars, but it is one of the most overpriced cars.
100%.
But it's ridiculous what those go for.
And it's that whole category. Like the Mark IV Supra is like, they're
Yeah.
very cool. I like them. I hate when people give me crap for having a Mark V. I think that at some point the B58 could become the new like 2J.
I mean, it's a heck of a motor, man.
We're like a couple months. I mean, we're not a couple months in. Obviously, we've had the motor for a long time, but we're not very far into this motor, and we've already gotten like lots of cars. I think we're in the sixes now.
I'm pretty sure it's in the sixes.
Yeah, which is not hard to do with a 2JZ, but it's very difficult. Like it's
expensive,
right? Yeah, exactly.
And then having the skill to be able to drive a car that way.
Definitely. And I mean, it's an older car. It didn't even have like traction control or anything like that.
Stock for stock, your Supra would smoke a Mark IV.
100%.
Haters will say otherwise, but it's the truth.
100%. And same with the R35 versus the R34. It's like,
absolutely. Yep.
I would take an R35 over an R34. The only reason I wouldn't is because they're worth so much now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It is one of like the most beautiful cars ever made, and that blue is
regardless of what my wife says.
Yeah, right. And that's another thing too. What normal people think are cool cars and what car people think are cool cars is a whole other thing to talk about.
We'll have to have our wives on here and just go through and like show pictures.
Yeah.
What do you think of this? Yeah. And we'll be so you know what? Let's not do that.
I actually had my wife blind rank cars. I think she put a G-Wagon over like a LaFerrari or something like that. Jesus. Like it's crazy stuff. I actually like G-Wagons. I know Matt doesn't.
I don't.
G-Wagons at all.
I don't. My friend Alex that had one didn't like it.
They're just, I don't know. Like I like Jeeps, and I feel like I don't want a Jeep because I don't want to be a part of the Jeep community, you know. And so like I feel like a G-Wagon is like, oh, I like to have a Jeep, but I'm also wealthy. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, speaking of Jeeps, before I forget, what is with the ducks?
I don't get the duck thing, man.
I've had 2 left on my car.
And that's like the weird part, right? Is like you think it's a Jeep thing, and then I guess it's like
I put it on a GTR.
Yeah, like I like your car kind of thing.
Why don't the Mini get any love?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's only the expensive ones apparently. I got ducked twice on my M8. It's like I don't know. I don't get it at all. I have a Jeep friend. We'll ask him at some point.
There we go.
So your first car,
the Hurricane, the Geostorm,
and you wrecked it.
I did,
and you moved on to what?
That's when I moved on to the Eclipse,
right,
the non-turbo. Right.
You wanted to be faster than RX-7.
That was my turbo Eclipse.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so the first non-turbo Eclipse I put an intake on. That I think that's when the bug hit.
Yeah.
It's just a simple basic mod that I could do myself, and then boom.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep. It brings it to life in like I don't know. The first time you get in your engine bay is like I don't know. You gain so much confidence.
Yeah.
And you start realizing that your car is just bolts in front of other bolts. And
like it's when you think about it, it's really simple.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that mechanics out there are. I'm not trying to make them sound any less because those dudes like Devin, or Charlie, all these guys, man, they're just so freaking good at this stuff.
Yep.
And there's still stuff that's above my head, man.
Yeah.
But
same here. Still stuff that goes over my head.
Is there?
Not crazy? A little bit. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think, dude, I remember looking up a cold air intake for my GT500, and I hate that like one of my first like performance cars was GT500, and we'll get into that later. But I feel so privileged whenever I say that. And
I worked for it though,
right? Of course, yeah. And I almost regret going so big with my first car because I'm stuck here now, and I can't like try other things, and I want to like stay that high of horsepower. But no, I remember looking it up because I wanted like more supercharger wine, and I read these things that were like, oh yeah, cold air intake will just destroy your performance, stuff like that, dude. Maybe, like, but not really. I mean, obviously the airboxes today are like gonna be as good as they're gonna get. Like cold air intakes obviously help, but like
sure
at a certain extent. But like you got these people who are saying that they're gonna like hurt performance, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that kills me. And so I was like afraid of these cold air intakes, and I didn't order one or anything like that. So I remember being so afraid of mounting my car.
And now you want a headlight delete.
Yeah, pretty much. And everybody has stuff to say about that too. And so it's like, you just got to do what you want to do.
That's what it comes down to is, doing what you want to do to a car. Like, when people ask how much horsepower I have, I say, oh, just, 700, whatever it is. Yeah. And,
just 700.
Well, but in the GTR world, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm literally just like the lowest of the low when it comes to performance. And I am perfectly fine with that because the car is a blast. I still can't drive to its capabilities, and I probably never will be able to. And I'm man enough to admit that, unlike a lot of people out there.
100%.
But man, you just got to find your thing and stick to it. And that's we joke about the respect all builds. We don't believe with that.
Respect all people.
Yes, absolutely.
Even though their builds might suck, because some builds do suck.
Absolutely.
Yes, cars are subjective.
Yes.
And there are opinions.
Yes.
You can ask our wives. They don't like a lot of cars. But there are certain things that are just impractical. Yeah. Headlight delete might be one of them, but it looks so good.
Yeah, and then that's why you're doing it.
Right, exactly.
And it's not hurting anything. It's not making your car less practical.
Exactly.
Because you're going to replace the light. But.
Yeah. But when you talk about like stanced builds... and you have this camber that's like just hurting everything. Like there's no like some cars, like every car has a negative camber to a certain extent because it helps handling. But when you're here, that doesn't help anything. In fact, it hurts everything.
I don't get it. Like squatted trucks, I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it, guys.
No, I don't.
But that's your thing.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean I won't make fun of you.
Exactly.
Which is fine because people in their big trucks like to make fun of cars too, and
exactly.
I can pull a house off the foundation. Cool, bro. Like
line up at a red light. Buddy.
Yeah, like neat.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, there's definitely a layer to all that, and I think obviously it comes down to respecting all people and not the builds, because there are bad builds, and I think a lot of people are man enough to admit that they have, pardon my French, shit boxes, and I think they're aware that like some things are just there to be fun and there to be stupid.
Yeah, and like, you know, if I'm gonna pick on somebody's car, like I pick on your car, but I love your car.
Yeah,
but
it's faster than yours. Not yet.
Definitely not now.
Not yet.
Especially with the guy tuning it.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later too.
Shout out to Sam Barrows for tuning my car. He's the man. Anyway, but no, like people that have stance cars and stuff, like it's ridiculous. And I can be their friend, and you know I appreciate the work they put into them.
That's a big thing too, like the labor, and like people love their cars and they're passionate for cars and things like that, and like you can't knock the ethic that goes into it. But
if you can make me understand why you do it, instead of being these people that are like, oh, I do it because people hate it, like that's dumb.
Yeah, like that's, I don't know, that's like the opposite of doing it because people love it, I guess. Yeah, but like I don't get it.
Everything out there has their bad apples, or I suppose, like, you know, people that do these takeovers, people that are you know, you show up to a car meet and you leave trash everywhere and burnouts and all that stuff, and you know there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to ruin the scene for you, but you just got to find those people that, you know, are trying to do the same thing as you. They just want to be chill and have a good time and see other cool cars, and you know that's all I want to do. It's all I've ever wanted to do.
100%.
You know, but some people, I don't know, man.
Yep, it gets frustrating, and then you got these people who knock cars that are like TikTok cars, but it's like, unfortunately, if a car gets popular, like it's popular for a reason. Yeah. Like, yes, there are overrated cars, of course. Mark IV Supra is a big one, but like, you can't be mad because like your dream car is now a TikTok car. Like that's why it's your dream car. Like why would you be upset that people like the dream car that you're going for? Like it doesn't have to be like a niche for you to feel awesome about it. I don't get that either.
I don't get it. Like there's people that don't like the GTR, and have I ever regretted having a GTR? Nope.
Right.
Am I going to? Nope.
Yep.
GTR tax is real. I do regret that, but I can't 100%. Control it.
That's why I went to a Supra.
Eh.
So,
which car did Jack like the best?
We're going to talk about that later too.
Shout out to Jack.
Shout out to Jack for sure. We're going to get him into cars, and he's going to make the mistake of putting way too much money.
We literally put together a meet for Jack. Do we say his name?
Jack Dylan Grazer. Yeah. My co-star.
Yeah. Wait, your co-star?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's a different thing. I'm not an actor or anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we put together a whole meet for this guy because he reached out to Jeremy about cars, and he's like, I want to get a Hellcat. And we're like, no.
No, you don't want to get a Hellcat.
Yeah.
Nope, sir. So we put it like a 40 car meet of like people we knew, and that would like take him on drives in his cars. And
yeah, maybe pop up that little video that Josh did with the drone.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Right there.
There it is.
And I think our mission was successful. I don't think he wants a Hellcat anymore.
Yeah, because he loved my car.
Yeah. Yeah, he liked a few cars there.
He loved my car.
He loves me, so he will buy a Supra. No, he said he wanted to buy an Aston Martin Lagonda. I don't get that either. Picture this right here. I like vintage cars a lot. I don't get the appeal.
I don't like that thing.
No, I'm sorry, Jack, if you're watching this.
Yeah, like Aston Martin. Who would ever think of Aston Martin and think of an ugly car?
Right, exactly.
Until you talk to Aston Martins about Jack.
Right.
And he brings up that monstrosity.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. It's
rough. Anyway, so we put it together this meet, and we got him off of a Hellcat. So he's going to go to a Mustang now, I think.
I never got my hot dogs.
True. Yeah, we meant to have a hot dog truck, and we didn't get the hot dog truck. We forgot. Well, I guess he didn't bring a truck.
Nobody came and hung out.
Exactly, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Community, the power of friendship. We ate the power of friendship. He also made a pals run at the end of the night, too. Yeah. So, like, that's basically a hot dog.
Yeah, you can't hate on that.
Exactly.
I don't like pals, though. Sorry, pals.
That's crazy. I literally have pals sweet tea at my feet right now. That's crazy. Okay. Your journey.
Oh, yeah, we're still talking about me.
Turbo Eclipse?
Yeah, I went to a Turbo Eclipse, and then I went to another Turbo Eclipse. Well, it was a Talon, Eagle Talon, same thing. Mm-hmm. It was all-wheel drive this time, and that was a fun car, but, well, when it ran. I had it for like 6 years, and I think it ran like 2.5.
Jeez. That's crazy.
At the same time, I did build the car. It ended up making like 518 horsepower, and this was back in 2005, 2006, somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made 518 horsepower. I built a stroker motor for it. It was pretty sick.
That's a lot of horsepower for that year, too.
Yeah, for back then, out of a 4-cylinder.
Still a lot of horsepower, by the way. I want to talk about that
Absolutely.
later, too, about the desensitization to horsepower numbers. Like,
Yeah, everybody thinks you have to have 1,000 horsepower or more
Yeah.
to be cool, and that's just not the truth.
100%. We'll get into that later because I actually do want to talk about that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
But after that, gosh, what did I get?
what makes you get out of these cars? Like total getting out of...
Well, DSMs.
Right, yeah, that's fair.
Like at the time, I couldn't afford to move into an Evo, and that's what I really wanted to do. I just couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But I went into the 240 world.
Okay.
And
Very nice.
I'll never regret that. Excellent cars.
They're excellent now, dude.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Yeah.
I had 2 S14s. They were both Zinkies. Never had a Kooky. I had a Kooky front end with an RB25 motor in it. That was awesome.
I don't know what any of that
Sorry,
is.
that's a Skyline motor.
Got it.
Those were great. Didn't keep them long. And then I moved into an RX-8,
Okay.
which, man, you talk about a fun car. But again, I just went right back to a car that's not reliable. But at the same time, I never had any trouble with my RX-8s.
Yeah.
You beat the crap out of them, have fun with them, and eventually they're going to wear out. It's just the nature of a rotary motor, but so much fun. They rev high, they handle so good.
Yeah.
But I had 2 of those. Those were a lot of fun. Always wanted to do a motor swap out of the FD RX-7
Okay. To an RX-8?
into the RX-8.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that would be really cool. It's not nearly as easy as people think it is, and I was just never in a situation to do it. But when I moved out of the RX-8, I went into my first Evo, or my only Evo so far.
Gotcha.
And went into an Evo 10. It's octane blue. She was beautiful. I loved that car. And then, things in my life changed a bit, and I was able to get the GTR. I flew out to Salt Lake City and drove it home with my good friend Devin. And
That's awesome.
Trip of a lifetime, man. Took it up Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Not Fastly up Pikes Peak, obviously.
No. The lady, as soon as I pulled up to buy my ticket, she said, "I know this is a go fast car, but do the speed limit." Yes, ma'am. But man, I'm telling you, if you've never been to Pikes Peak, right?
I've not. No.
Oh my God. So
I feel like I have after watching that Ken Block video, dude.
oh Jesus. Yeah. And Larry Chin did the photos.
Yeah.
But man, after going up Pikes Peak the first time and seeing the road and the cutoffs and like just the sheer drop offs, and then you see Ken Block flying up there in the unicorn, and
Like one wheel off.
God, it gives me chills talking about it, dude. Like,
Rest in peace, by the way, man. That
yeah,
gone too soon.
God, dude. But yeah, after going to Pikes Peak and seeing all that, I don't understand how those guys can do that and to have that kind of car control and stuff. And some people out there, their car control is just legendary. Like, I mean, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan is, he posted that video on Instagram, him riding that wheelie, and that dude can just control anything. And then he's like, "Oh, I can't do anything."
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as Daniel saying he's not fast on the mountain.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll get into who these people are too, because I guess no one knows who.
Oh, we're gonna have Daniel on here one day.
Oh,
I hope.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Daniel's the best driver
Oh God.
that we know. That's for sure.
Yeah. And
He was like chasing, or he wasn't chasing. He doesn't chase. He was following these guys in like really like brand new nice Porsches, and then they were like trying to outrun him.
Yeah.
And then this dude puts his arm and his leg just outside
just
of
out the window.
just cause, and he's like, these people are pushing to their limits, and this guy's driving with one hand with his leg out the window.
He's so cool about it too, though.
Such a boss, and he's so nice too, which is like makes
Great
him
guy.
cooler.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. Wasn't the last time I was on 421 with him, but one of the times I was up there with him, dude was so far ahead, he just stopped.
Yeah.
And waited for the rest of us. And when he saw us coming, he launched it and took off, and we didn't see him again until we got to the store.
That's awesome.
But that's
421, by the way, something known as the Snake. It's a back road.
Yes.
What a back road track, I guess you could call it.
Home track is what a lot of people call it. It's a lot like the Tail of the Dragon, but
just a
local
little go
to
fast
us.
place.
Yeah.
It's like 30 minutes from here.
Yep.
If even.
It's a blast.
Scares the crap out of me. I'm not the biggest fan of the world. I would like to track my cars at some point, at someday. But on a closed course, I value my life a lot and don't want to die.
That is on a track too.
Yeah, but it's, I guess, less likely. Yeah. I mean, if you go off the road, you're like spinning out into barriers instead of off a mountain into the lake.
Much better.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, dude, that going up 421, actually, you were driving the M8.
Yeah. It
made me realize that I will never reach the limit of my car, ever.
Neither will I.
And it takes a slap in the face ride like that to realize like there's so much more to cars than
I believe you said, I don't want to drive my car anymore.
Yeah, I don't deserve
or
this car.
I don't deserve this car.
Yeah, that was terrifying. I feel like I'm not a daredevil by any means, but I feel like I don't mind. And I like almost asked them to stop. Like I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Well, that's crazy. I feel like, I mean, obviously you just said that you owned a ton of cars. So, I mean, we went through a lot.
I had some other things like, I had a Jeep.
Yeah.
I've had little things like that. Nothing important.
Yeah.
I actually, for a while, the Jeep was all I had. And I really liked the Jeep. It was a lot of fun, but man, you miss having a car.
Yeah.
There's nothing that changes that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, sometimes just hopping in the car and driving is all you need.
Mm-hmm. When I feel like too, that goes to show like the Jeep, even if it was like super powerful, you're still in like a bigger car.
Yeah.
And so it's like you talk about like track hawks and all that stuff. They're fun and they're fast, but I feel like you lose the drivability of like a coupe.
Yep. Absolutely.
And that's a whole other thing too, for sure. Well, we know a guy that has a 1200 horsepower Hellcat Durango that his wife dailies.
He doesn't have it anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sold that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That was just recent, huh?
Yeah, it hadn't been too long.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah, that thing was awesome, man.
That thing is
I've got that picture of him launching it, and it's dang near dragging the rear bumper. Yeah. Man, that is awesome.
That's sick.
Loved it.
So I got into cars. My very first car was a 2020 Highlander. It was fully spec'd out, super cool, brand new. I bought that for my family before I got my learner's permit, and then that was like in the heart of COVID. So this was not a while back at all, and that was not the car that got me into cars. And so then I finally got my license. I failed my learner's permit test twice.
I can see that.
Yeah, for sure. They kept asking me questions about alcohol and not how to drive, and I knew how to drive, not drink and drive. Wasn't allowed to drink legally, so failed that twice. Got my learner's permit, and we were looking for my first car. I refused to go used, and this is the stupidest thing you could possibly do ever, no matter what kind of money you have. I will probably never buy a BMW new ever again. I won't say ever, but most likely I will never buy a new BMW ever again. They just sink like rocks, dude. I've lost so much money in BMWs now. It's actually stupid.
It's sad.
Yes, it is. So we were looking, and I was between a few different things, but it came down to an EV6, which saying that now is crazy to me. I love them too. I still like EV6s, and the GT is cool, but to think that I was between an electric car and a BMW 540i is crazy. Insane. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed, and whatever car is available in the morning, I'm going to go buy. And so it was like a month journey, but it came down to this one day. We went into Toyota or to Kia, and the EV6 was sold. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So we went to the BMW dealership, and we bought a 540i new. My brother was begging me to go to the used market and was like, just look for something new for used, like buy like an M3 or something like that. And I was actually between an M3, an RS3 or an RS5, I can't remember, and then a Kia Stinger. These three cars were the cars that I was in between. I know, dude, it's crazy. And now that I'm in the car world, it's like, how could you ever compare a Kia Stinger to an M3 Composition X-Drive? But anyway, I bought the 540i. Didn't really do anything to it for a little while until I got my hands on some Plasti Dip. And I Plasti Dipped the frick out of the thing. I Plasti Dipped the wheels, I Plasti Dipped the grill, I Plasti Dipped the emblems, all that stuff. I think it's a canon event for everyone to do that. I think it's important that everybody Plasti Dips their car at some point.
Everybody has a ricer stage.
With 100%, and I'm still in it heavily.
I don't think you are.
I'm I feel like it's a tasteful rice, but I definitely I would rice more if I could. I just know that it's stupid. And so I bought a 540i, and I just did some cosmetic stuff to it. I changed like the colors of the BMW badge and chrome delete and all that stuff. And I was learning, but obviously it was nothing performance-wise. It was just like making the car look cooler. And I felt like on top of the world with this 540i. And it is a very cool car, and I still have it, and I don't really want to ever get rid of it. And then I brought it to Thunder Valley Street Fights, and I ran it. I ran a 13.2. I smoked every Mustang GT, every Camaro SS. Felt wonderful. I went to my dad the next day, and I said, I want to be faster. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I figured as soon as you went to there, you want to get in the 12 or something like that. I was like, I want to get in the 10s. That's not as easy as it sounds, by the way. And so I start looking at some other things. I start like looking at modifying the 5. And really what got me into cars at all was like looking up what I could do to the 5. And I read this forum, and it was like, B58's a great platform. And I was like, what's B58? And that's basically what like took me down this journey, was like figuring out what motor was in my daily. And it got me to where I am now. And so I bought my first performance car, which is a Mustang GT500. Such a good car. Now that I'm in the stage where I'm at, it might have been the best car I ever owned. I don't know that for a fact, and I'll get into that later. But I bought this car. I bought it from Carvana. Come on, dude. This is awful. I make myself look like an idiot here.
Well,
I have a really steep driveway at my parents' house, and I dropped it off there, and they were putting it on a slope so that it wouldn't bottom out going down. And so as it's like going down, he forgot to put the parking brake on, I guess, and it just starts rolling down the trailer. And then by the grace of God's hand, he stops the car on this thing, and it doesn't go. But if it went down, at the bottom of my driveway is a river, so like that car would have been gone. Anyway,
that'd have been awesome.
Guy hates Mustangs.
I'm not a Mustang fan. I grew up in a Camaro household.
Anyways, well, we're getting to the good part of the story where I get rid of it anyway.
There we go.
Anyway, still bottomed out. They broke the front splitter and everything like that, and it was like a 2-month journey for me to get it like fixed. And they wouldn't let me drive it because they were like, if you drive it, then maybe you broke it or whatever. Anyway, so I finally get to drive this car. Sounds incredible. Looks great. I start to do a couple things, but it's like way too much power. So this is 760 horsepower to the rear wheels. My first time really driving a performance car.
To the crank.
Whatever. 680 horsepower to the rear wheels. And dude, if you touch the throttle on a turn, you're sideways. Like, it was a crazy car, and it was so much fun. But I couldn't control it, and I owned it in the winter, which I think is where I went wrong too. Anytime it was below 20 degrees, it's not getting traction.
Oh man.
Period. Yeah. And so yeah, like I that and the fact that no one cared about it because it just kind of looked like a Mustang to normal car people was the reason I got rid of it. And I was mainly between like a Corvette and the GT500 at the beginning. So I went back to the Corvette idea, and then I found an M8 because I've always wanted an M5.
How long did you have the M8 before we met?
So funny story. I went to sell the GT500. I finally found the M8 that I wanted, and like 2 days after I sold the GT500, you reached out to me and were like, "Hey, you want to take photos of the Mustang?" And so yeah, that's when the M8 was shipping, and so I wasn't allowed to drive the GT500 anymore. So I showed up to the SAC with the 5, which was half wrapped at the time, because I was trying to fight this guy that wrapped my car because he cut into the paint and did a bunch of whole crazy stuff, and I won't get into that either. Anyways,
maybe a burn video coming to you.
Yeah, right.
Just kidding.
And so yeah, I showed up with the 5 that was like half wrapped, and I'm sure everybody was like, "Yeah, this guy definitely doesn't."
This guy's an idiot.
A GT500. And Matt had no idea who I was.
I did not.
Which I think that's so funny. I think it's why it worked so well.
Right, and you know, I loved it as well. So when I did find out who you were, it was even cooler. But
yeah.
Obviously, that has no bearing on our friendship.
I mean, that's pretty much the only reason you're friends with me. So, but that's fine. Yeah, it is. That's fine.
I was using you to get to Jack. Love you, Jack.
Yeah, that's fair. I use myself to get to Jack. So yeah, I showed up and I had the M8, and then we drove the M8 for a while. We went up to 421. Incredible car, great straight line speed. luxurious, quiet inside, very loud outside.
Yeah.
The turbo spool you could hear on that thing was
it's
insane.
like a diesel truck, man.
Yeah, literally. I remember like I would go to the parking garages and have my windows down, and I would just film videos of like the echo of the turbo spool was crazy.
I could hear your turbo spooling over the sound of my car.
Yeah, that's
it was awesome.
That's insane.
I'm so jealous of that sound. The way Charlie's GTR sounds.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so jealous of that.
Yeah. I think it's probably one of the coolest sounds
Oh yeah.
in cars.
Yeah,
Besides
when
maybe
you-
like the blow-off valve noise.
Blow-off valves are great.
Yeah.
My favorite sounding car of all time is a four-rotor.
Yeah, that's fair.
The 787B.
Or that LFA.
Or the LFA, which is amazing.
V10s, V12s. High-pitched screamers. I love that so much.
There's so much cool stuff out there.
There is. There's so much to talk about. So little time. Just kidding. We have all the time in the world. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we went up to 421, and Matt drove me, and I thought I was going to die. And I said, hey, remember that I have a wife and a dog.
And me too. And a child.
Right. And that's what he said. He said, I do too.
Went faster.
Yeah. And no, I was like, yeah, I don't deserve this car at all. I still had the car because I wasn't going to sell it just because I can't drive it to its fullest potential.
You
No
just
one can
gotta
drive
learn
that
how.
car. Yeah, exactly. And then one little day, I drove my wife's Elantra in. Believe it or not.
What was the reasoning? I mean, you had driven it before, but you never really got on it or nothing. And
Yeah, and I always thought it was like a fun car, but I guess it was never to the point where I was like super into cars anyway. And now that I cared more.
I mean, it is a fun car.
And it's such a fun car.
It
The
is.
steering feel and like, it's not the fastest thing. It's like 260.
All right.
And then
For now.
270 with the in-grin shift mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I drove that thing and like, it's so fun around corners and like, it's fun to like change lanes fast and
Yeah,
stuff like
it's
that.
just a cool all-around car.
Yeah.
And man, people don't expect it.
No.
If you ever get the chance to drive an Elantra N,
100%.
try it.
Yes.
Apparently, the Veloster N is great too. I've never
Yeah.
driven one, but
Me neither.
there's that one blue color, that like almost powder blue.
I can't remember. I always call it Cavalry Blue, but that's Toyota's, I think. But it's that similar color, but it's like that light baby blue. It looks
It's
so
pretty.
good.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
I try to convince my wife to buy that one. But now it's a much cooler color, which I don't think you guys know what that color is yet.
No, we haven't done anything like that.
So
Unless you follow us on Instagram, I guess they've seen it now.
Yeah, true. She couldn't wait to post it. So
I don't blame her.
So don't go on Instagram. Just wait here, and we'll show you what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Don't follow either one of us
Yeah.
until you watch this.
Yes, exactly. But no, I drove that car, and I was like, dang, there's more to this than gunning it at a red light
Right.
every now and then.
You know, it's like I've been telling you ever since. Like it's not all about numbers.
Yeah. And I still have more to say about that, too. And I think that numbers do matter if that's all you have to go off of.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and when you're trying to base it on your decision making before you can drive the cars
Right.
and things, absolutely it
Yeah.
does.
But I drove that car, and I've always wanted a Supra. I just didn't want to like go down in horsepower severely from an M8 or a GT500.
Right.
When I'm making like 700, 800 horsepower with these cars, I didn't really want to like go down to a Supra. But I always thought they looked incredible.
They're so cool.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to buy a Supra from stock, and I'm going to wide body it. I'm going to big turbo it. I had this whole plan, this whole like pricing set out. And I was like, this will probably take a couple months. I go on Facebook Marketplace that night. I found this thing. It was listed 2 hours ago. It was this wide body Supra in black. It's literally to the T, like what I wanted, what I needed.
We were literally going to go and look at the black one that was for sale at one of the dealerships here.
Yep.
And he texted me that night, hey, dude, look at this. And
And he was like, all right.
here
do
we
it.
are. Yep.
So I drove to Baltimore and not Baltimore, Maryland.
It was Maryland, yeah.
But I drove to Maryland and we picked it up, and I haven't looked back. I loved the M8, I did, but the Supra's a different beast, and
There's a picture of the M8 taped to the wall behind me.
Oh, there is. If you can see that,
I don't think they can see it in frame, but
rest
yeah.
in peace. And I just bought brand new wheels for the M8, which is kind of a bummer.
They're literally over there.
Yeah, you should be able to see those. And I'm trying
for
to sell
sale.
them. Yeah, so if you want to buy them,
Oh, they're so sick though, man. They look so good on that car.
They did, yeah.
What was the color? What was it called again?
So I ordered champagne bronze.
No, of the car itself.
Oh, the car. That was Dravit Gray Metallic.
Dravit Gray Metallic.
With amber fleck.
Oh, so cool.
Which is gorgeous. And my 540i is Bernina Gray with amber fleck, which is similar, but that Dravit Gray is like just a step cooler.
Yeah.
Like that darker. Oh,
the
my
5
gosh.
looks awesome though.
The 5 is a great car, yeah. I love the 5, and I want to mod it so bad. But I need to get the Supra to a place. That's another thing, too. Don't mod your dailies for a minute. Like, put the money towards maintenance and put the money towards your fun car.
Talking to you, Ethan.
Yep.
Maintenance.
Don't engine swap your car before you get your 4th or 5th lug nut.
Yeah, dude.
If not all of your lug nuts are in your car, don't look at engine swapping or turbo kits.
Bro is delivering pizza, and he's got, 12 lug nuts holding all 4 wheels on?
And people do 4 stud conversions to 5.
Yeah.
Because 4 is unsafe. And this dude's got 3. Come on.
Yeah, Ethan.
If you're watching this, I do love you. But
he sucks at darts.
He does suck at darts. We need to have a rematch, and we'll film that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We'll just have how many times can Ethan lose in a row?
Yeah.
Ayo.
You'll never have to pay for your grass.
Yeah, right. If you don't know, Ethan is my neighbor, and he cuts my grass.
He's a good kid.
He's a great kid, and he reminds me of me whenever I first started, and it's like, I am. What do you say? I'm smart enough to know that I know nothing. I'm smart enough to know that I'm an idiot, and so like going into the car stuff, I knew that I knew nothing, and so you have to start from a place where it's like, this is a huge world. You know nothing. You probably never will know anything because it's so massive that you can't know enough to know everything or know anything.
Yeah, but your knowledge has grown, because you're not afraid to ask questions.
Right.
And you're willing to learn, and you don't just act like you know everything.
Yeah.
Which, any of the younger people listening or watching this, and you're just getting into cars, have an open mind.
Yep.
Due diligence, learn. That's the way it is, man. Like,
a cold air intake does not make your car the fastest in your state.
Neither does a muffler delete.
Yes, exactly.
Some cars sound great loud, some don't.
Yes, and there's a big difference between being loud and sounding good.
Talking to you, VQ guys.
Yep, and Austin.
And Austin.
Actually, I do love the way Austin's car sounds.
Yeah.
I know that people think it's too much. He has a GT350 Shelby.
Yeah.
And it's basically as straight piped as it can get. He's got headers and everything. And when you hear that thing downshift in the mountains,
it's so loud.
It sounds like a banshee.
It's so loud.
It's gorgeous. I love Mustangs. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of how I got into cars and where I'm at now. So now I have a big turbo wide body Supra, and it's in the process of getting tuned. And so right now it's the slowest big turbo Supra on existence. Probably slower than a stock Supra.
But man, it looks good.
It does look really good.
Just got to change out that exhaust though.
Yeah, the exhaust is fine, but it's not the drone is rough.
Yeah, the drone is pretty rough.
And I don't understand the single tip thing.
It doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. Unless you have like one of the, what is that, like the thing that fills in the exhaust tip?
Yeah, so like I was editing a picture of the rear.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know, that's how Halftorqued started, photographer. Anyway, but I was editing photos of the back of that car, and I was looking at that, and I was like, dude, I don't even want to keep editing this picture. I will, but like
you do that, like that, you get like a big silver heat shield.
Yeah,
back
like
there
it just looks like the car's diaper is showing or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It just, I don't know. It kind of takes away from it, but
100%.
We'll get you a Boost Logic or
100%.
Whoever it's going to be.
Yeah, as long as it's titanium,
right?
Tips at least.
Yeah, John.
Boost Logic looks so good. Yeah, and so then I put all the titanium from JD Customs. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, this is actually for my car though.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the video coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we're gonna do that this weekend. So.
But yeah, and now we're modifying the Elantra N.
Yeah.
The first episode of that is out now.
Yeah.
I don't think the second one will be out by the time that this is out. But it should be. It'll be posted like
a couple days later.
Yeah. Or it's out a couple days before. I don't know yet exactly, but it should be out a couple.
Well,
days
you've got a really busy. Wait, no, you don't.
No, I'm unemployed, so I got a lot of time to
literally don't do anything.
Pretty much. So yeah, but yeah, we're modifying that. Big shout out to Sixth Element for providing the parts.
Absolutely, man.
Their parts are insanely good.
The intake, man, it almost fits too good, brother. Like it's
like sketchy.
And your wife dropped the gasket. That was messed up.
Yeah, Matt dropped a gasket. He likes to say my wife.
There's no way it was me.
Yeah.
Not
I might just throw that in here from the other video. I have the power to edit all this, so I might just throw that in there.
I'm not against it.
He dropped the gasket and
I
the
did.
ring.
And we still haven't found them.
No, they're somewhere in there. But everybody's got a 10 millimeter in their engine bay, and
It's true.
that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
I have a titanium bolt floating around in mine somewhere.
Dang, it's like $3.
Right?
Just chilling your engine
I know.
bay.
It looks pretty wherever it is, you know?
Of course. So yeah, the titanium looks so good. If you're interested in titanium or not, I mean, even you can get the Bear and it still looks like stainless steel.
Oh yeah, and it feels like plastic. Like it's.
Yeah, I was talking to John about that too, and he was like, even working on it every day, like it feels so weird picking up that versus like a normal stainless steel one. It literally feels like plastic, and you don't want to drop it because you feel like it's gonna break or something.
Our channel is not sponsored by John. It should be, but you know John's just an excellent dude. His stuff is so cool, man.
Yeah, such good quality.
Yeah, and he's such a killer dude, and the customer service is next to none. So hit him up, man.
Absolutely.
JD Customs.
If you go on his website and there's something he doesn't have, most likely he can make it for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna say he'll make anything, but
yeah, JD Customs. It's custom for a reason.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we're modifying the Elantra, and that'll be really cool. We got a wide body coming for it, I think.
I don't know first. Are we saying that?
Maybe not.
Okay.
We got
we can
coming for it.
Yeah, there's stuff coming. There's other things coming too.
Yeah, we got some pretty crazy.
There's a couple things on back order, but
for sure, that car is gonna be ridiculous. Even more ridiculous than it is because Elantra ends are awesome anyway.
It's gonna be a Type R killer.
That would be a really sick name for it. Like Type R Hunter custom plate. Something like
that'd be neat. Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be really cool, and got lots of plans for the channel. I think.
Yeah. We got the Mini to work on. My daughter is, oh my God, she's turning 14 next month. So we bought her a Mini. It's a turbocharged Mini manual because she wanted to learn how to drive a manual, and I think we're going to K-swap it. We're definitely going to K-swap it.
Yeah, we're
definitely K-swapping it. So we got like 2 years to get it K-swapped and turboed and tuned and wrapped and whatever else the little girl wants. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't wait. She'll probably never get the keys to it.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
at that point, I'll just be like, you know what? I think this is.
Yeah,
this is Daddy's car.
Maybe we'll get you an Elantra in.
No.
What else do we have? We got the Mustang.
So I got an '89 Mustang GT convertible box body that my father gave to me. It's been in our family for a very, very long time, so I'm excited to like fully restore that. Just about everything that's wrong with it is wrong with it, so we got a lot to do to it. But like aesthetically, it's pretty good. I've done a couple things to it, but like I didn't want to drop a bunch of money into it without having it, so I want to like make sure that whenever we do it right. So when the engine's dropped, we're gonna replace every gasket and all that stuff. Should be fully restored.
Yeah, basically a full motor rebuild. Because why not?
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so cheap to do it on that thing. If you're just doing a stock build, like,
yeah,
it's not even fair.
That's another thing, dude. The prices. I really want to make an exhaust company called Pipes or Pipes. That was my idea, and we just make an exhaust for every car, and we just price it the same. So it's like an exhaust is this, and I think that if a car is rear engine or mid engine or whatever, it should be cheaper.
It should definitely be cheaper.
It's like half the material that you're using.
I don't get it.
Kills me. Yeah, GTR taxes ridiculous.
Yeah, my exhausts are so expensive.
Yeah, the M8 tax that I had was about the same as the GTR tax, maybe
worse.
worse.
If you could find anything for it.
True, and that's another reason I got rid of the M8 too. Was like the aftermarket support was so bad.
Nothing.
There was like a wide body kit that was available, and it was like $35,000 minus wheels and everything for it, and that's not even like installation and stuff. Yeah. Ridiculous, because everything had to be custom made. Like
that's the thing that some people don't think about when they build a car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you do a wide body, you can't run factory wheels or factory spec wheels. It's just going to look weird.
Suspension has to be different unless you have like really awkward fitment. But you can't have a wide body without good fitment. That would be stupid.
That's going to be fun to do with the Elantra.
Yeah.
I've never done a wide body.
We're going to try and do it ourselves.
Yeah. A couple idiots in the shop with a Sawzall.
Yep. And a hammer.
Yep.
And then we're going to get someone professionally welding it.
Right. Yeah.
Because we don't want it to rust from the inside out.
But, you know, I mean, that's how you learn is just by doing it. And, you know, my favorite YouTuber to watch is Devin Niemela. If you haven't watched him, check him out. That dude literally learns everything. Like he's trying to learn how to window tint right now, which I don't get it. Like I don't know how Julian does that.
No.
You know, people like Will Race here and Felix up at Autosthetics, those guys, the stuff that they can do with film, or Devin Steely with all the PPF, and you know, Cole, our buddy Cole, and there's just so many talented people surrounding us. That's why we kind of want to do a podcast, is because we know so many people that have, so
much experience,
cars and experiences. Crispy has so much experience.
Yep.
You know, gosh, we have so many friends that have so much cool. Our friends are cooler than us.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing the YouTube channel.
That's why we're here by ourselves right now, and there's a cat sleeping in a drawer.
Yeah, pretty much. Enzo, our cat, is sleeping right behind me inside of a drawer that we took out of to mount our mics to this end table.
Weirdest cat, man. He's the coolest cat. Excuse me.
If I fits, I sits, I believe is the cat's
Right.
motto
most
of the time.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think the goal is to have a lot more guests on here and share some expertise and hopefully help people who are beginning understand stuff. Because I remember reading all these articles about different things, and even though they were like telling me what I needed to know, they were using slang that I had no idea what meant.
Right, yeah.
I remember trying to figure out what CEL meant, which is check engine light. And I remember CIA, and they just like, you'd think asking such a beginner question on a forum, they would give you a beginner answer, but they use like, oh yeah, if you have a CAI, you might get a CEL with this and this. It's like, dude, I have no idea what that means. I'm asking like if I can even buy a cold air intake in the first place.
The car world has more acronyms than the military. And let me tell you, that's a lot.
For sure. So yeah, the goal of Halftorqued in general is to spread positivity, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's,
because it's such a negative world in general. Like there's so many bad apples, but there's such a beautiful place to it that people just keep pushing away because there's badness to it. And it can be dangerous, but you don't have to do the dangerous stuff either.
That's right. Yeah. Find your thing, stick with it. You know, get with people that, you know, are sharing that passion with you in a positive way. Yep. You know, I haven't always been the most positive person, but you know, over the past few years, I certainly tried changing that, and I have. So, you know, that's what the whole Halftorqued is about. We want to do car shows and meets and things like that, but everything we want it to be a positive way. You know, but at the same time, on the flip side of that, you know, we talk about the stance cars and stuff like that. Like I don't know, man. We just want a clean car show environment. And not to say that stance cars aren't clean, but I don't know, man.
When you reach out to a company and you say like, oh, we want to do a car meet, red flags everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want to get rid of that and bring like a cleaner light to it and make people feel more comfortable about coming into it not knowing anything.
Yeah, bring your kids out and enjoy it, because my daughter loves this stuff. Yeah. And you know, there's some of the meets and things around here that we wouldn't take her to back in the day because bad things would happen. People try to show off and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to show off to enjoy your car.
100%.
You know, it's just, I don't know, one bad apple, I guess. You know?
For sure. And there are brands of cars that are being ruined because of people who own the cars are ruining them.
One of the reasons I don't like Mustangs, I'm not afraid to say it. You know, a lot of Mustang owners, although I know some good ones. Joel is a great guy. I don't know. Austin's a good dude. There's some decent Mustang guys out there, but it just seems like everybody that drives a Mustang thinks they're just got the fastest car and all this crap. And
definitely a brand loyalty to it. And we'll talk about brand loyalty in the next episode.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
I feel like I'm loyal to a brand, but not in the way that a lot of people are. But yeah, we'll talk about that next episode for sure. Yeah. We've got so much to talk about. A ridiculous amount.
There's always a lot to talk about.
And that's kind of, I think, like the beauty of cars is like it's never ending and you will never know everything.
Nope.
Period. And that's, you were talking about mechanics and stuff like that and saying that like, you know, it's easy to work on your cars and you're not trying to take away from mechanics. Mechanics are good because I know how to work on my Supra. I know how to work on my 5. I know how to work on my 8. I don't know how to work on every other car in existence.
Right.
Though.
Yeah. Like these dudes can just do it. Like John Boggs. It doesn't matter what you take that guy and
you bring him a Civic or a Tacoma or a Pagani and probably not a Pagani, but like, you know,
he'll figure it out.
In general, he knows like what every car has. And that's like the beauty of mechanics and how amazing they are. Like a jack of all trades versus being able to install anything on your one car. It's actually incredible.
There's all these different things that are involved in the car world. Like we're going to be going and doing a video with our friend Victor. It's going to be powder coating your wheels.
Yep.
just that guy's an artist. Just seeing the stuff that he's going to do, and that's going to be awesome. And then hopefully we can get with John one day, and not really show his process, but because it's his thing. But just being around that guy is just a good time.
100%.
But yeah, man, there's a lot that's going to come.
Yeah. Well, and what Jack was saying too, whenever we throw that car meet for him, is like a lot of people don't understand that cars is not just like this really manly, like super cool thing.
Yeah.
Like it is self-expression, is what Jack was saying. And like so many people have so many different tastes in cars, and there's so many different ways to accomplish those tastes. So there's so many categories and there's so many subcategories, and like people are expressing themselves through this stuff, and it's really, really cool. And I think people miss that part of the genre where like there's so much more to it than like, oh, I've got the fastest car, and whenever you look at my engine bay, it's a bunch of pops and this, and this. And so it's such a cool hobby, and there are so many colors and
personalities.
Yeah, 100%.
We hadn't even talking about that meet. It was just really cool how Jack, the first thing he saw and liked was the air-cooled Porsche.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not like that car? But
that's rare for like a person who doesn't know cars to like.
That was the first thing he looked at, man.
Yeah. To go to the car enthusiast car was so cool.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew he was into cars.
Yep.
Like we got him, I think.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, he's hooked.
Well, that's our first episode.
That is. Yeah. I think that's it. Like, how do we sign off?
I don't really know, man.
Do we tap dance?
I feel like we should tap dance, yeah.
I don't know how.
I don't either, but we can learn.
Together?
Yeah, of course. We do everything together. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our first episode. Our next episode, we've got so many things to talk about. I want to talk about the new ZR1.
Oh, yes.
I want to talk about the GT3 RS and whether it's overrated or not, as good of a car as it is. I want to talk about brand loyalty. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That one will get heated. I'm excited for that one.
That'll be fun.
It will be fun.
We have great conversations.
We do. And that's why we're starting a podcast, because we sit here and talk for hours and nobody understands why. And we're going to try and make you understand why. And if you hated this episode, sorry.
Maybe you'll like the next one better.
Maybe. You could give it a try.
Maybe just watch our content.
Yeah. We should be posting every week. But this was really easy to make. Maybe we'll just start posting more.
This is too easy.
Yeah.
Just to sit here and talk.
This is literally what we do anyway.
This is literally what we do.
But it just now seems like a job, so we can just do it more. Because
this is more censored, though.
True. A little bit.
Yeah.
We're a little bit more fun in the shop.
Yeah. Our wives cuss a lot. That's why they're not here.
Exactly.
They're very, very mean.
They're so vain.
Very mean.
We love our wives. They're actually so much better than us.
In every way.
Yeah, and they spend a lot less money. That's fine.
My wife's super cheap.
Yeah. My wife's not cheap, but she just hates how much money I spend, which I think most people would.
I don't. Spend more.
Agreed. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. If you like this episode, like and subscribe. This should be on Spotify. I don't know how to get it on there, but
I have no idea.
We're gonna figure it out. And then for all of our audio only listeners, thank you for listening. I hope that we were visual enough for you to hear what we were saying, and I hope I.
Oh, there goes our timer, brother.
Look at that. I guess it is the end of the episode.
It really is that time.
So yeah, thank you so much for joining. We plan on doing a lot more of these, and go check out our other videos that are more. I guess I want to say more chill, but this is actually about as chill as it gets.
Super chill.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So us kind of installing and stuff and goofing around in the shop, and that's bringing you into our daily lives a little bit more.
Yeah, we got some more stuff planned for that too.
100%.
But anyway, we're out.
Good night. And to all a good night.
No.
I don't know how that works.
We'll have to try something next time.
Yeah. All right. See y'all.
Peace.